Hi everyone and welcome back to the Back to Blighty podcast. My name is Becky and I am joining you today from the south coast of England where I live with my partner, our son and our Springer Spaniel called Molly. I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome if you're a new viewer and welcome if you're a returning viewer. This is where I talk about all my knitting things that I've got going on, my projects, my plans, a few acquisitions, and there's a little shop update as well at the end. So I hope you're all doing okay. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Facebook. Everything will be in the description box below. However, if you want to find out more about my projects, just pop over to my project page on Ravelry and all the details will be there. So we're now in 2021. I hope you're all okay. I hope you had a nice break and that you're doing all right, you're safe and well. We are now in lockdown again in the UK. That happened on Boxing Day. So things have been a bit hectic and a bit strange for everybody, I think. So I'm now back at work, although I am working from home. I'm not working in schools at the moment. I work in mental health, and so at the moment schools are shut or only open to vulnerable pupils, so I am doing a lot of my work online. So it's a busy time coming up for us all and some strange times ahead, but hopefully today you'll have a little bit of comfort to just kick back and take your mind off things half an hour or so. So I have got some finished objects, I've got some whips, I've got some acquisition / Christmas gifts to talk to you about. And as I said, I've got some plans and a little shop update at the end. So I shall start, I think, with what I'm wearing. So I am wearing the Annalee cardigan, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's got these lovely increases on the raglan. I'll stand up so you can have a little bit of a better look. Oh, I'm going to stand behind the chair. So I'm really pleased with this. I love this detail. I did have to alter the pattern slightly because I didn't have a lot of yarn. I was using up stash yarn. This is Drop Sky in the light jeans colourway, I think. So I did the sleeves differently and I used the same sleeve finish that is on the ranunculus because I really like that. And it's kind of bracelet length. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, really like it. The buttons I got from the Stitchery in Lewis. Don't know if you can see that. They're little wooden buttons and they remind me of little balls of yarn. But yeah, really pleased with it. It's really cosy and it's going to get a lot of wear. So good free pattern. I recommend go and have a look. I would like to make one actually a bit more oversized. This sort of fits me quite well, It's not fitted, but it does fit me well, and I quite fancy one that's a bit more balloony in the sleeves. But the only thing with the pattern is it is knit one row, purl one row. You work across the whole lot, which for me takes a little bit longer. So if you're not keen on purling, it's probably not for you. But yeah, it's a really good pattern, really easy. I recommend it. It's fantastic. So that's that. The other thing that I made was a bit of a secret. I did Vlogmas this year, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it, although the ending kind of finished a bit quickly, just because everything took over really. But I really enjoyed doing it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. You will have seen on there that I was working on a secret project, and that was because it was a Christmas present for my dad, who watches. So hi Dad. He watches this podcast, and so I didn't want to give anything away. But I made the Go Big or Go Gnome hat, and I will pop a picture up here to show you. So I made this out of John Arbon Exmoor sock yarn, which I really love. Let me just see if I can find it. Here we go. I still have loads left. So I have made the Sansevieria socks out of this, and I have made the Go Big or Go Gnome hat. It's a bit of a tongue twister. And I still have that left. And I really love this yarn. And it is the best smelling yarn, which I've said so many times. So I'm still going to manage to get something else out of this. It's lovely, it's slightly rustic, but it's so light. If you want a hat that's really warm, or a pair of socks that's really warm but really quite thin, it's fine. I really recommend this yarn. So now I've got it in my mouth. So still got some of that left, so I will use every single bit of that. And at the moment that's living in my lovely Christmas bag from Helen, which was part of my advent, which I'll come on to a bit later on as well. So thank you, Helen. So that was another project that was finished. I have also been working on my spruce socks, and this is in the Winter's Tale yarn, and it's got these lovely spruce trees on the leg. And I've got one done, so I've got a half finished object, and I am getting on with the other leg, but other things have sort of distracted me, shall we say, which we'll come on to later. But I have just got to the heel flap and gusset, so that's where I am with that. This is a Stellina base on my Winter's Tale colourway sock set, and yeah, still got quite a bit left, so I'll show you the yarn very quickly if I can find it. I don't know quite what I've got in this bag. I seem to have, it's full of all sorts. So yeah, so those are the yarns. I hope they're not blowing out too much. So yeah, they're coming on, and I will finish them, but I'm not kind of so driven at the moment to get those off the needles. As I said, I've been distracted by other things, so it's kind of taken a bit of a back seat, but I will get them done. It's just the heel flap and gusset now. You kind of got to concentrate for a bit, and I tend not to like concentrating on socks. What else have I got? So I have got another 2 finished objects. I started this because the Happy Knitting podcast, I don't know if any of you watch. I think it's Julie. Sorry if I've got your name wrong. I didn't write that down, and now I'm questioning it. But anyway, go over to her podcast because it's a lovely podcast. I will link that down below. She was doing a tier 4 cast on, and I decided that I would join in because it was a really nice idea. It was like, find something really bright and just cast it on. So I thought to myself, I bought this yarn from Dye Candy, which is Pandemic, and she did this as a kind of one-off dye lot at the beginning of the first lockdown. Here's her card. Sorry, it's a bit torn. It kind of came like that in the post, and it's blowing out. There you go. And it's called Pandemic. There you go. So it's a finger and weight yarn, 425 meters, so it's quite fine. But this was the brightest colour in my stash. Now, I don't wear things that are that bright, but I love the yarn, and I thought it's really too nice to put just into a pair of socks. So I'm going to pair it up with some floof. So I dyed up some floof, and I paired them up, and I made a cowl. And I decided I would design my own cowl, just for a change, just to see what happened. And I'm going to show it to you because I am so pleased with this. So this is the cowl. And it's so fluffy and lovely, and you can see the difference in the colour. So I can't wear this, bit bright. I could wear that, but it's a bit bright for me. But I can wear this. So having the floof really tones down that yarn. And I decided that I would do a cowl based on tiers because that's all everyone's talking about at the moment. So I decided to design this, and you can't really see on this one, but I have made another one. But there are some triangles going up, then they break off, and then they come down again into some triangles facing the other way. Does that make sense? And yeah, because I kind of thought we never quite know where we are, do we? We're kind of like in one tier, then we're in another tier, and then a new tier comes around. And so yeah, so I thought it was kind of fluid. So I'm calling this my Hopes and Tears cowl. I'll pop it on and show you. And I really love this cowl. It is so warm and snuggly, and yeah, really, really like it. And I wanted something that wasn't too tight around my neck. I wanted something that was really loose, but really, really cozy. And this cowl is so cozy. So I'm really, really pleased. And I love the texture. The texture in it seems to kind of concertina on itself really nicely because of those triangles. So yeah, so really pleased with that. I'm going to take it off because I've got another one to show you. So well happy with my tier 4 cast on there, which has now been cast off. And I decided, well, let's make it again. Because I wrote down the pattern, I thought, well, let's try again, let's do it again. Sorry, I've got floof up my nose. So I decided to cast on using some small skeins. So are they minis? I'm not sure whether they were minis. They kind of are minis, but they're sport weight. And I decided to cast on my Wonderland Yarns set, which I got quite some time ago from Fig Tree Yarns. And it was just so beautifully put together that I just had to have it. And this is Mad Hatter, and it's called Tea Time. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minis. So this one kind of knit up like a double knit gauge, which was lovely. But then I thought, well, let's try it with the same needles, but on a sport weight yarn, which I did. And this is what it looks like. So it's come out so nicely. I don't know if you can see the triangles, and they go through to diamonds in the middle, and they go back down to triangles at the bottom. And this is like a neutral. I mean, they both are. I've worn them quite a lot because they're neutral. They go with anything. So I'll pop this one on. And as you can see, it's still lovely and floppy, but it's a bit closer. So yeah, so I love it. Really loving that cowl. So excited about it. And I've got to a point where I think I'm going to publish it. So I've written it up, I've got to do some bit more work on it, but I am going to publish it. And I think what I'm going to do is it's going to be a really cheap pattern, and I'm going to put all the proceeds towards Mind, because as you know, I work in social, emotional, mental health. Mind is a charity that's quite close to my heart, and I feel a lot of people need a lot of support at the moment, and I appreciate how snowed under our services are. So I think I am going to publish it. I will let you know on Instagram when it does go live, if I can figure it out on Ravelry. How's that work? Yeah, I will be publishing this pattern. But it's a pattern that you can use. I'm going to leave that on. It's a pattern that you can use with so many different yarns, depending on what texture. I mean, you could do it in a solid so that those triangles really pop out. You can mix it with a floof, you can just use minis. Yeah, just use up your stash. So yeah, so that's really exciting. So 2 cowls, and this one I knit in a couple of days. It was really, really quick. And this one did take a bit longer. But you can also, actually I will take it off because I also want to show you the difference in size. So this is a double knit gauge, obviously, as I said before. This one is the sport weight, so it's a little bit narrower, but also I wanted to show you the row gauge. But the great thing is it doesn't really matter. And also because of the stitch repeat, you can just add a couple of repeats or take a couple away. You know, it's really up to you. So yeah, I'm really pleased with my cowl. So yeah, I'll keep you posted about that on Instagram. And as I said, I'm going to put this back on because actually it's really cold. And I don't know about you, but I have been working from home and I get freezing cold. Sorry, I've still got floof on my nose. I get really, really cold, and yeah, so these are perfect. And as I said, it just goes with everything. What's not to love? So yeah, so that's really exciting. What else have I got? Okay, so now I'm on to whips. I'm gonna have a slurp of my tea. I feel like I'm talking really quickly again. So whips, my Chrysler shawl by Stephen West, or it's a Stephen West pattern by me, but designed by him. Anyway, that's in the same place as it was. It's still on the go. I haven't done any more of it because I have to increase so many stitches on the next row that I've got to do that I just, you know, had other things to do. And I had a new cast on. And if you watched Vlogmas, you will know that you will have seen a bit of this. So I decided to cast on the Australia sweater, which is a pattern by Meg Reagan, who is Bad Wolf Sits and Knits over on YouTube. She's got a really lovely podcast. You should really go and check her out if you haven't already. And I decided I was going to knit the Australis that she designed quite some time ago, but it's been like on my plans list for quite some time. And I am using some DK yarn by Spectrum Fibre. This is ink and this is mercury, and it's blowing out. Come a bit closer, that's a bit better. So yeah, so I decided to cast this on because, you know, with everything that happened sort of over Christmas with lockdowns, feeling a little bit flat, and I just needed something to really kind of look forward to and engage my mind. And colour work for me really does kind of stop me thinking about everything else. So in some ways it's very mindful, because I'm just living in the moment and thinking about what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about all those other things and stresses that some of us have at the moment. And I've nearly finished. So this is how far I've got. Ta-da! I mean, look at that. It is just beautiful. So yeah, so I've done one sleeve. I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to stand round here, make sure my balls don't go flying. So yeah, so this is as far as I've got. I've finished one sleeve, and I'm nearly finished the second sleeve, but it is just so beautiful. This has brought me so much joy, I can't tell you, and I'm loving it. And I really love the way that you can see those flecks of colour in the white. Now in the pattern there's some beading. I'm not a beady person, so I haven't bothered, but I really love it, and I'm hoping that this weekend I'm going to get to wear it. Love it, love the yarn. It is so soft and beautiful. This is 100% merino, I think. Let me just have a look, see. Yeah, 100% merino, and there is the label. So yeah, no changes to the pattern, apart from I did a twisted rib because I just wanted it a bit tighter and a bit more kind of, it's quite a loose gauge. The reason it's a loose gauge, two reasons. One is that I knit quite tightly, so quite often I have to go up a needle size when I do my knitting. Yeah, and it's not thin, but I just didn't want it too open, and obviously with ribs they're supposed to stretch a bit, and I didn't want them to stretch out too much, so I did a twisted rib on the neckband and the bottom, and also on the cuff. So yeah, oh, loving it, absolutely loving it. So I'm well impressed with that. So nearly off the needles, so excited. And this was kind of I didn't do my Christmas cast on. I was going to cast on a pair of socks, and I've bought the pattern and I will cast them on. But I just felt that this was giving me so much joy that I just thought, you know what, just do something that's bringing happiness. So, and this is one of those projects. So yeah, really pleased with how that's going. In fact, it's nearly gone, which is a bit sad because, you know, the sleeves have been really quick to knit. You know, DK yarn is just super quick, you know, if you want a jumper. That is that. Now, what else have I got? Okay, I'm going to show you my Azure sweater, which I haven't done for a while, but I need to get on with because I want to cast something else on. So I thought I would pop it out and just show you. I'm 2 rows off of casting off for the bottom, and here's the top, and yeah, got 2 rows to go, and then I can cast off the bottom of it. So again, a really lovely sweater, and looking forward to doing that. I'm going to do the neck line next, I think, because I just want to see how that looks once it's done. I've done a slightly cropped version again. I wear high-waisted jeans a lot of the time, so for me I just find it more flattering and also less to knit. But after doing my Astraeus on DK and then going on to 3.25mm needles for this, it's kind of like takes ages to do a round. But anyway, nearly on the sleeves, and I really want to get this done. I am using Penny, and this is from Cosmic Strings. There you go. Oh, light Cosmic Strings. Yeah, it's a bit darker than that. You can see how dark it is. It's like a penny, let's face it. And the yellow that I'm using is my honey colourway. So yeah, it's looking really beautiful. Loving it. It's not a bad colour actually. That looks pretty good from what I can see on the screen. So that's going really well. I have also done a bit on my bits and bobs blanket, but I won't show you that because it's, you know, it takes quite a while to get a row done and you won't see much difference, even though there has been progress on that. So those are all the things that are currently in progress and on my needles. And I have got some Christmas gifts and some acquisitions to show you. So let's move on to that. Well, the first thing I've got to show you was in my advent. Now, I did an advent swap with the lovely Helen from the Fox in the Purple Coat podcast, and I didn't show you my gift for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I can't remember. Anyway, it was the final one. I think it's Christmas Day. Yeah, it was Christmas Day. Losing the plot. And I had one larger parcel to open and I thought it was a skein of yarn, and it wasn't a skein of yarn, but it's okay, it's all good, because she knit me this hat. How gorgeous is that, and how lovely is that pom-pom? So I don't know what pattern this is, but it is beautiful and I love it. And it's kind of, I've worn this loads, Helen. I really love it. It's a great fit. It's my colour. It goes with my cowl. What's not to love? So I am so pleased. Thank you so much, Helen. I don't think I have had anything knit for me since my mum knit for me. And my mum passed away about 4 years ago. So it's really, really special. And it makes me so happy. And I am going to wear this loads. The popper, not hat hair, the pom-pom has got a popper, so I can take it off and wash it. And oh, so happy, so happy. So thank you so much, Helen. I will cherish this and I will wear it to death, literally. So thank you so much. So what a great gift. Very, very happy. Such a happy podcast when I get all these things out that I love and that people have made things, and it's just so exciting. So it's a little drop of joy in the world. Okay, what else have I got? Okay, I got 2 skeins of yarn as well for Christmas. One was from Thea and one was from Jack. So this is the one that Thea bought me. Look at that. Oh. You know, literally, when I opened it, I was like, oh, it was brilliant. And Thea said that she did the same thing when she opened it before she wrapped it for me. So this is from Somerset Yarns. And it's one of a kind, and it's called After the Storm. Oh, it's blowing out, but you kind of get the idea. This is going to be a hat, I think. And I need to find a pom-pom in one of these beautiful, bright neon colours. So if anyone knows where I can get a pom-pom that sort of colour, I would be really, really pleased to hear that. So please leave a comment below. But oh my goodness, it is just, look at those greens. Oh, and it's blowing out. Oh, anyway, trust me, it is gorgeous. So that was that one. And then Jack bought me this one, which has got all these beautiful oranges and blues and browns. Oh, there's mauve in there. And this is from Steampunk Sheep Yarns, and it is called Shepherd's Delight. So red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Red sky at night, shepherd's delight, which means that there's going to be good weather. That's kind of what the folk tale said. So I don't know if that's just a kind of British saying, but anyway. So yeah, so I've got this. It's the fingering weight yarn. I am not sure what I'm going to make with it yet. Maybe a shawl. But oh, I love it. Really, really nice. Good choices, guys. They were brilliant. So the other thing that I got for Christmas was from, sorry, I'm just moving things, was from Leon. So, and I really wanted this book. And it is Selbu Mittens, and it's by Anna I'm not going to pronounce that because I'm just going to make a pig's ear of it. So, and this is the history of Norwegian knitting, and it's all about their Selby mittens, and it is just beautiful. It's got lots of old gloves that they found and reproduced. It's got loads and loads of graphs in there. So you can make your own and design your own mittens. And then in the back, it has got some charts. I'm going to show you really quick, some charts and things of some mittens that you can make that are in the book. But it is really, really beautiful. There's some gorgeous pictures in there. I mean, look at that. Look at that little girl. And she's very young. I'm just trying to see, 10-year-old daughter knitting, and she's doing colourwork mittens like that. Oh my goodness, it's just incredible. So yeah, it goes through all the history, where they came from, what is classified as a Selby mitten. I didn't realise there was so much history in it, but yeah, really, really good book. I'm going to get loads of use out of that, and I have never made any mittens like this. So yeah, so it's just so inspiring, and you know, I mean, look at all those lovely ones. I mean, hopefully you can see it's a lot of glare, but look at all those lovely mittens. Oh yeah, so that was a really lovely gift. I mean, obviously I helped him. I did say, oh, there's this book that I've got my eye on, but at least he listened to me, so that was really good. Okay, acquisitions / plans for the next one. So acquisition wise, I have bought some yarn from John Arbon. John Arbon, Bakery Bears influence there. Always call it John Arbon now. I am knitting the Chrysler shawl, as you know, and I am using Harvest Hues, and I really like the yarn. And also, after knitting with the Exmoor sock yarn that I made Dad's hat with, I kind of found that actually I love knitting things in a natural wool that is quite fine, but it's so warm. I mean, that hat is so warm. Those socks are so warm. So I decided I would get some more Harvest Hues. And I got this beautiful green, which is called Juniper. It's darker than that. It's really quite dark. And it's got these lovely tealy blues in it. This is called Juniper. And I've also got some barley. Now I'm thinking of a colourwork project, and I'm not sure if the contrast is going to be enough. So I'm going to try it because I quite fancy a colourwork sweater that the contrast isn't so high. But I may change my mind. So the main colour is going to be this juniper green, which is just beautiful. And even if I don't use this for that project, I mean, it will make a beautiful hat or, oh, mittens. So yeah, so I've got these two, and I am thinking about doing the Sparkling Leaves sweater, which is a sweater by Jill Carina. I will pop a picture up here to show you. So yeah, so main colour this one, and then the leaves in this one. That's my plan. However, she has got a number of gorgeous patterns, like the Cassandra sweater, the Victory sweater. They're all really nice. But I think I'm going to do the Sparkling Leaves one. So those are my plans. But I really need to finish my Azure, or at least do a sleeve on that before I cast this on. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of strength. Just got to, you know, keep thinking, finish the sweater, finish the sweater. Anyway. So that's that, but I also would like to cast on some brioche. Now, I've never done brioche before, but I really want to have a go at it. And last year I hosted the What a Lot of Cowl with the lovely Ellie from Craft House Magic, and she gifted me, we did a little swap afterwards, and she gifted me these two lovely yarns here. The white one is called China in Your Hand. Do you remember Cowl? Like, you could only see her tonsils in the video. Just made me think of that. Yeah, so that's going to be in my head now, that song. China in Your Hand, and this one is Teenage Dirtbag. So a little bit later, 80s, 90s, want to say. Anyway, not sure. I want to keep them together because they belong together. And so I am going to cast on my first brioche pattern with this. I'm not going to lie, a bit scared. Anyway, I'm going to do the Brio Comfort hat, which I shall pop a picture of in here. It's a really basic hat, so it says. And it is done by Leslie Ann Robinson, who is Knit Graffiti Designs. And, you know, if you've been over onto her Ravelry pattern page, you will see she is the most amazing brioche designer. So yeah, this is going to be a hat. I'm hoping that I don't muck it up, but I will show you and share my progress with you. And also I kind of feel that I'm going to have two, maybe potentially, maybe one, fingering weight sweater on the go that I need some sort of double knit project. So I think that's going to be the next thing that's on my needles. The other thing, that I bought from John Arbonne, I bought these two books, annuals. I bought their annuals, and they're really sweet little books. So at the moment, if you buy the two together, they're on offer. So you get a bit of a deal with them. But there's patterns in here. Show you a couple of patterns. So I've just got to be careful not to show you the pattern notes. So there's one pattern in one book, and I'll show you one from this one as well. They're crochet patterns, and they are knitting patterns, so you get a bit of both. So there's some of the scarves in there, and yeah, really, really lovely. There's also knit by numbers. You can see their colour palette. There's crosswords. There's little kind of Where's Wally type thing going on. And also what's really nice is there's some of the history, and actually there's John actually talking about the mill and how it all began and things like that. So I do recommend, they're really nice, and they're kind of nice coffee table kind of magazines, if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, really like those. And I think I might be making a couple of things out of there. There's some soft patterns too, so that was a good buy. Otherwise, that's it as far as my knitting goes. I have got a couple of things that I just wanted to share with you that will be coming into the shop the next few days. Sorry that the shop has been empty. It's just been a really busy time, and I haven't done any dyeing, but since Christmas I have done a bit of dyeing, so I've got a bit to share with you. I've got some new sock sets, and I have got these sets which are 50 grams and two 10 gram minis. And the reason I did this is because I quite like socks that are not quite matching but almost. So I like to do maybe one toe different colour on one sock to the other, or a heel different colour, or maybe have two heels different colours from the toes. So yeah, so I've gone with 50 gram skein and two 10 gram skeins, so you can do that. This is Albatross, which is blowing out awfully. Albatross I've had in my shop before with these two colours, but I have now put in a lovely kind of burnt orange colour as well, so you kind of get the idea. Light. I've also got Brambleberry, which is this one, which has got these berry colours. So please go over to my shop and have a look at them kind of in normal light. And also I've got some lace weight yarn coming in, so this is also one of my favourites. It's called Frog Prints. So yeah, some really lovely greens. This is beautiful. It is lace weight, but it is 50% Suri alpaca, 30% extra fine merino, and 20% silk. So you can see the sheen on it is really lovely. It shines beautifully, and it's kind of got that fluffy texture about it, which I really love as well. So there's a few other things coming in the shop, but I thought I'd just show you a few of my favourites at the moment. They will be coming up over the weekend, so keep an eye out for that. And if you follow me on Instagram, I will pop a post up as soon as they go live, so that you know that they're in the shop. So yeah, so that's me at the moment. I'm working really hard. I'm working from home, and yeah, it's all been a bit of a nightmare, hasn't it? Let's face it, with schools and what's happening out there at the moment. Schools are still working because obviously the vulnerable children are going in. And so we're still supporting schools and parents and staff as much as we can. So yeah, really busy, and I know it's only going to get busier. So that's where we are. Jack is home. He is not going back to university, obviously because of the pandemic. So it looks like he's probably going to spend this year of his university course at home, home learning, which is really nice to have him around, but difficult for him because obviously, you know, he can't do anything, although he's happy playing his music and reading and all that sort of thing. But we're all keeping well and just staying at home as much as possible, unless it's the supermarket or going over to see my lovely dad. So we're doing all okay. So I hope you're keeping well wherever you are, and I hope your knitting is keeping you sane during these difficult times. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. Please comment, like and subscribe, and also thank you for all your comments over Vlogmas. It was really lovely to kind of show you a little bit of my life, even though it was work generally, but you know, never mind. But thank you so much, and I will see you on the next podcast. Take care, bye.